Hello and welcome to my channel again. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the patience and the support that you've shown me in these past few days since I decided to join the 31 Days of Tarot Challenge. And of course, life got in the way and I didn't manage to keep up with the days of the challenge. But I don't want to give up, so I'll try and concentrate some of the entries in a few videos to share with you what I think about these prompts. And just because I've been enjoying so much learning from you or watching all the videos has been a great experience for me, like it was in the past years. So first of all, thank you so much for that. And then I would jump right into it, not to waste any time. The first question that I want to answer today was the number 5 question, the card that stalked me in 2017. And well, there were some cards that kept coming out for me. And well, the easiest one was probably this one, the 4 of Swords, because it was a very intense year and I wasn't able to get all the rest that I needed and that I wanted. So I just interpreted this as you really need to take more time to, well, sleep first and also meditate, because that has been one of the things that's been keeping me sane through a lot of emotional up and down that's been going on in the past year. So yes, that definitely came up a lot, and I generally thought it was excellent advice and tried to take it as much as possible. The other card is a bit more difficult in some ways, because the other card that stalked me, yes, that's the one you don't really want to see in a reading so often, and yes, it was the Death card. So I had to put up with a lot of changes, and this card really reflects very well what has been going on. And you know how we always say that death always means change? Well, generally means change, but sometimes it also can be a literal death. And in my case, I must say that that was the starting point for a lot of changes that have been going on, because yes, I've experienced some kind of losses in the past 2 years. First in 2016, in the end of 2016, my father passed away, and that started a lot of changes. Some of them, sorry, you can hear a bit of noise. That's one of my cats that's just running around crazy, and that is actually Lilith, while Eva is sitting right next to me. So let me just introduce you at least. Peaceful, chubby Eva. This is Eva. Vuoi dire ciao? Non vuoi dire niente? Oh. She's really sweet. And now her sister is looking at her, really jealous. She's down there on the floor. So Eva and Lilith. What can I say? Yes, so this also to melt a bit the tension that was building up. I don't want to be too intense in this video. Let's keep it light. But yes, so Death card stalking me was quite reasonable, and I always took it as a positive card, meaning that yes, from losses and from, well, letting go of people or a situation also that are dear to our heart, something positive usually comes up. At least growth and change and experience. So yes, that was definitely coming up very often for me too. So next is the deck that I finally crossed off my wish list last year, and I already spoken about this deck in another video, so I'm not going to be long about it. But how much do I love the Sacred Creators Oracle by Petersen. I just think this is one of the most amazing decks that I have in my entire collection. Definitely one of the most used and loved. It's not a tarot deck, it's an oracle deck, although the first 22 cards refer very clearly to the tarot system. So this has been such a joy to have in my hands, because I've been seeing it. I think it's been originally issued in 2016, and I've been seeing it all over the place on Instagram, on YouTube, and everybody was loving it so much. And just seeing the cards, I thought they were amazing. But it's quite difficult to get the decks here in Europe and in Italy because of the post system, which adds more adventure to the whole process of getting hold of decks. And so I hesitated a while to get it, and I waited for the money to have it. But yes, when I finally got it, it was totally worth the wait. Next, the most worked deck in 2017. My most worked deck always, and it's the Wild Unknown. I just love this deck so much. It's, I think, what I would call my soul deck. Definitely when I have to reach, oh, this might be my favorite card in the entire deck. I don't know. I love them all. When I have to reach for a deck for myself or for others, I usually pick this one. It just gives me so much confidence, which I think is a bit weird because it's not exactly Rider-Waite-Smith based. There is a lot of animal energy. There are a lot of symbols, but it's quite simple in its, you know, the way it's put together, and also the coloring, but it speaks to me so clearly, and I'm just not afraid of using this deck also for other people, and I just love it. So I've been using this, I think, most of all last year, and also the year before. Since I got it, I just keep loving it and using it and getting to know it better. Then my top 5 decks on my wish list. I thought that I didn't have any, but as soon as I stopped and thought about this question, I discovered that I do have some. Firstly, I think the Marielle I've been missing in my collection. It has a very distinct kind of artwork. It's a bit dark, and I saw it in videos and in pictures, and I definitely think that I would like to trim it because the artwork is really so gorgeous and very powerful. I would like to work with that and see what comes out of it. And other 2 decks which are in some way related that I still don't own but I often think about are the Dark Goddess Tarot and the Tarot of the Crone, which are both by the same author. And I actually have the app on my phone for the Dark Goddess Tarot, and I use it quite a lot. The guidebook is amazing, and there's so much information in that. But also I think that the cards are quite, well, not easy, but they spark the intuition a lot. So it's one of those decks that you could use both way, trying to learn more about the goddesses and both using the intuition. And I really like the artwork. I'm really drawn to it. But then again, I still haven't made that step to buy it. So it's still on my wish list. And then, oh yes, there's another one, which is the new tarot deck, which Petersen is designing, Pixie Curio on Instagram. That's the creator of the Secret Creators Oracle. So for sure that as soon as it comes out, as soon as it's available, I would really, really like to get it. And I've been looking at the sneak peeks on Instagram. Petersen shows the process of drawing the cards, and that is making this deck even more special, because it's great to see how a card is created and also the process that someone puts into it, both as artwork and as channeling, you know, the concept, the ideas, using the archetypes. So yes, that's definitely going to be on my wish list. It is, and I hope I'm going to get it. I don't know when it's coming out. I hope soon. And then one oracle deck, which is the Weaver's Oracle, which I've been seeing quite a lot, and I'm quite curious about that. I don't really feel the need to have much more oracle decks because I'm very happy with the ones that I have. But that one seems very interesting, and I'm a bit tempted. I don't know. Then my tarot goals for 2018. Well, that will be to provide more content, not only for my close friends, but maybe through videos, through my website, and yes, be more open to speaking about this passion. Not that I'm in the closet or anything, but it's just that there are so many things going on right now that sometimes tarot just gets pushed a bit behind, and I don't really want that to happen anymore because it's such an important part of my life. But you know, there's music and there's my job and there's my family, and I don't really have only one job. So I'm not a tarot professional, and sometimes this thing just pushes it too far back in my priority list. So I want to make tarot more relevant in my priority list. That's the right way to put it. Then, well, tarot decks that I want to work more in 2018. That should have been a really easy question to answer because actually I have been very, very drawn to Marseille decks recently, very recently. So this is a new thing for me. I have a various collection of different tarot decks, and I love different artworks because I think they draw in a more extensive way from my intuition. It's good to be able to access different artworks to connect to different parts according to my style of reading. And so when I recently felt attracted to, well, Marseille decks, I was like, what's going on? And this is all my friends' fault because recently I've been playing with this amazing tarologist, which happens to also be a great musician, and we've been collaborating, and he's been making me look at Marseille decks in a different perspective. Also, not only introducing me to the work of Jodorowsky, this is the deck that was inspired by Jodorowsky researches. So it's this one. I've been reading Jodorowsky's book, and I find it really full of knowledge and of angles, interesting angles on tarot, but it didn't really draw me in until this friend of mine introduced me to Enrique Enriquez, which I thought was pure genius. It's a totally different way of seeing peep cards and also Marseille cards in general, and cards. I think that what he says can easily be expanded to any kind of tarot decks and actually any kind of symbols and archetypes you see in your everyday life. So, but I'm also eager to go a bit deeper in the traditional symbols, just because they are easier. They're not easier. They're just more in plain sight. I mean, so I would really like to work with a deck that has less imagery to go deeper. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's my purpose in working more with decks. But then again, why stop just to one deck? The other one I really want to work more with is the Margarete Petersen. And I started by using this as my deck for the year ahead reading. When I got this deck, I thought that the imagery was gorgeous, and it is. They're all paintings, and each one is a unique piece of art. But I was a bit intimidated by the fact that it's so abstract. And so I thought, oh, I'm not going to be able to, immediately relate to the Rider-Waite-Smith meanings and reading intuitively when you have such, powerful imagery, but still I think it depends very much on what you see in them. It's not standard at all. You can't really refer to anything when you go in this kind of journey inside these cards. I must say that the book that comes with this deck is, well, is just so well written. It's pure poetry, I think. And so, but at the same time, at first I thought that this deck was so, you know, it was a bit difficult for me. When it all changed when I trimmed it, because I mean, how gorgeous are these cards? And also they are smaller, not as big as they were in the first place. And just the images came out. And now when I put one beside the other, like that, they really speak to each other. And I don't know, I'm loving it so much. So this is one that I'm definitely going to try and get more familiar with in this year. Next question. Well, oracle decks that I want to work more in 2018, I would definitely say the Goddess Oracle, which is just an amazing deck. Oh, here she is. Sekhmet and Kuan Yin are my protectors. They are the goddess I refer to. And well, this deck is so powerful and so intense, and it also has an amazing guidebook in which you can learn so much more about the myth, about the legend surrounding goddesses. Again, I thought I shouldn't take it lightly. I should just, you know, be quite serious about approaching it, so I haven't worked with it so much. But I believe that in my newfound spirit of lightness and of trying to do things instead of pondering and thinking too much about them, it will be a good thing just to start using it. I also saw that a lot of people use this deck in a quite unconventional way. For instance, one way that I've been loving is using the cards to express some qualities that you really want to embody. So not just as a draw, but actively choosing the cards to put on your altar or to use during the moon rituals. And this is one thing that I have been doing up to now. I want to find new ways to connect with this deck because I think there is so much material and so much knowledge and potential and inspiration in that deck that it's just calling to me. I must say I just acquired it like 3 months ago, so it's still a process that's ongoing. So what started me reading tarot? Next question. And why did I keep on reading? I must say that I started reading tarot a long time ago, and it was just a part of being a witch. And you know, you read books and you experience things, and they tell you that divination is such an important part of being a witch. And so I tried approaching tarot cards, but I wasn't really feeling drawn to them. Again, I think it was the fear keeping me away. Then quite recently, a couple of years ago, when everything changed in my relationship with the harp, I was attending this masterclass, master, which I think would be a Bachelor of Arts or something. An intensive, higher level part of my studies, which brought me from a more academic point of view and experience, because I had been playing in an orchestra. I say an orchestra, but actually it was more like a band, because still is my second family. But I was playing with a group, let's say, of harpists, and I tried to study more seriously, music, to become a better musician. But then everything changed when I switched from this learning pattern to a different approach, which was the intuitive approach, meditative music, and using the harp in a different way. It was like surrendering to the fact that I would never become a professional performer. This not surrendering in a bad sense, because I don't feel this as a failure, not at all, I must say that. I just found the best way to express myself through the harp, and that was a great, I think, accomplishment in my life when I discovered what was good for me, what I wanted to do with the harp, what my goals were. And I need to thank the amazing Diana Rowan from Bright Knowledge Harp Circle for helping me in discovering and remembering those goals, because it was not about just performing for me. There's nothing wrong with performing. I'm just saying everyone makes choices, and discovering what's best for us is so important in anything we do. And so I did that with the harp, and then when I was experimenting this kind of process and studying with amazing people and other harpists, one girl that I met, her name is Anna, she was carrying around her deck of cards, and I remember she doing this amazing reading for us at dawn. We woke up really early, I think 5 o'clock in the morning. It was summer, so at 6 o'clock we were sitting outside in this amazing place in nature where the retreat was, and we played harp, we practiced some yoga, and then she read cards for us so intuitively that immediately made me think that yes, I could do that. I was hearing the voice of the cards in my own head as she was reading them for me. Not hearing the voice, but I mean feeling the cards. And it was the first time for me. I already had those decks at home that I never used in this way. And so yes, that's how it all started again. And I bought the deck that she was using, and then went back to my own collection and discovered that I had already, like, I think 6 or 7 decks that were 20 years old. So question number 13 is, what was my best or most memorable moment related to tarot last year? I had quite a few, I must say, because I've been really developing my relationship with tarot. So I have a lot of nice and memorable moments that I would like to recall. But I think the most important of all was one of those that started everything. The one that started everything. When I went to the fair, probably. That's my most memorable moment of last year. I experimented my Hop and Cards project on my friends, my family, but then I felt the need to read for strangers because it's quite different. And so I did. I bought a gazebo, I printed out my business cards and took the harp to a 2 days fair. And I ended up doing 36 readings in 2 days, and that was memorable. So many tears, so many hugs. And I discovered something very important about my limits, about how my intuition works, about connecting with other people, about opening the heart. So that definitely was my favorite tarot moment in 2017. And I think I'm going to stop here. Well, I can answer the next question very quickly because it's what other divination tool you use aside from tarot, and I don't really have one apart from oracle decks because I'm not really into divination. And so I think I will just stop here, also because the battery is running out. And so thank you very much for being with me in this video, and for your patience again, and for your support. And thank you for sharing all your wonderful videos. I've been loving learning from your own experiences, and hope to see you soon. From my heart to yours.